next news. Columbia University said today that it will pay over $200 million to the U.S. government in a settlement with President Donald Trump's administration to resolve federal probes and have most of its suspended federal funding restored. Trump has targeted several universities since returning to office in January over the pro-Palestinian student protests movement that roiled college campuses last year. In March, the Trump administration said it was penalizing Columbia over how it handled last year's protests by canceling $400 million in federal funding, citing an insufficient response to alleged anti-Semitism and harassment. Under the agreement, most federal grants terminated or paused will be reinstated, and Columbia's access to current and future grants will be restored. Trump has also used funding pressure on other universities and tried to deport foreign pro-Palestinian students, including at Columbia, but has faced court challenges. Now we're joined by my colleague Joshua Barnes. He's an anchor and correspondent at NewsX World. Joshua, thank you for joining. What more can you tell us about this evolving situation?
Well, yes, Suma, this is a very clear move from Columbia. It's all about federal funding for the university. Now, we know that Trump, over the past few months, has been looking at different universities and accusing them of allowing anti-Semitic behaviour on campuses, notably protests against the situation in Gaza. He's labelled those as pro-Palestinian protests, but also labelled them as anti-Semitic. Trump says that these universities need to do more in order to protect Jewish students who say they feel unsafe amidst these protests on, of course, an extremely divisive topic that often has people on either one extreme or the other. People either extremely in support of Palestine and wanting to speak out, or, of course, on the Israeli side. Now the situation is complicated, and you mentioned other universities like Harvard, which has been going through its own legal process. This all comes back to federal funding. The US government gives these colleges, universities in the United States an amount of money, a lot of funding that is through the government in order to promote several areas, looking into education as well, foreign students, which is something which we've also seen sort of looked at by this Trump administration. But clearly here we're seeing Columbia acknowledging that this issue needs to be resolved. They've taken a hit. Over $220 million in total will be spent. That includes a proportion that will be given to people and students that have faced difficulties that are alleged to be anti-Semitism from the Trump administration. Of course, that allegation from the Trump administration, not these payments. Those are coming from Columbia. So it is a big moment. It is a big step. I think another win that Trump will see in his long-running battle. You mentioned legal cases, and of course that is still the case ongoing with Harvard and some other universities. But ultimately, federal funding will return to Columbia after this settlement.
Thank you very much, Joshua, for sharing that insight. Now we move on. Let's take a look at some